on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From the healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. Educating the masses with a smirk on our face, bringing clarity to the headlines in this crazy race. From the White House to your house, we cover it all, putting humor in the facts, we're having a ball. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind, only on Oh No America you'll find.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to my very crooked studio. Yes, I don't know what just happened. I'm pushing things, but welcome back to the Gay Ride.
Oh no, that's the monster voice. That's not the right one. There we go.
Oh my goodness. I am so sorry I'm late for a very important date with y'all. Here, and we're going to get back into Project 2025. Oh my goodness, guys. But today's a lot. Every day's a lot here in America. We're having more and more upsets about Trump nominations. We're going to get into those. Kash Patel, all these other things, Hegseth. Oh, it's a lot. I really want to, each one of these nominations is worthy of their very own show. So we're definitely going to dive in on each one of these things. Is Ms. Pillow here, or is Ms. Pillow on my other channel? I don't think Ms. Pillow is here. I have to send her a very, very heartfelt thank you for the beautiful card and literal boxes of money, guys. Multiple boxes containing money. And that gives my gay heart just much joy for the Christmas season. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I will put that thank you out on my community page and everything else later. But yes, thank you very much. All right, guys. So let's dive back in. We're not even into the meat and potatoes of this document yet because it is so wordy. And I've got my cup of water here to wet my palate to get us through here. On top of that, I do need to go into Portland later for a candlelight vigil. So we're not going to be here forever. We're not reading the whole document today, guys. If some of you thought that was happening, it's not. It's too long, guys. It's too long. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. So we had left off, the last thing that we left off on, okay, is we were going to get into the promises. So we're at promise numero uno of Project 2025. All right, here we go. So promise number one, restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children's. Okay. Translation: nuclear families are back. It's giving 1950s hetero family, and we need to put women back in the kitchen. Okay, let's get into it. The next conservative president must get to work pursuing the true priority of politics, the well-being of the American family. Now, if we go back to, just real quickly, the preamble of the Constitution of the United States, yeah, nowhere in here does it mention the word family, right? It's we the people, not the families of America. We the people, for ourselves and our posterity, right? Which could be your kinfolk, okay? But it is not family. That's not, they didn't put that in there, okay? In many ways, the entire point of centralizing political power is to subvert the family. That is not correct. Its purpose is to replace people's natural loves and loyalties with unnatural ones. You see this in the popular left-wing aphorism, government is simply the name we give to the things we choose to do together. Who said, I've never heard this in my entire life. Has anyone else ever heard this phrase? I have never in my life heard this phrase. I want to know who said this. Please hold. Center for a Stateless Society. This blithe, sunny-sounding phrase attributed to former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank. Okay, so Barney Frank said this. When did he say it? Is frequently called up in the service of the advancing march of the American state. It sounds very nice. Certainly, government is one of the things people do together. The phrase, though, seems to attempt to describe the fundamental quality that makes government what it is. The words would lack much meaning or import if they simply meant that government is made up of people doing things together. This is too obvious. Frank was trying to tell us something about the character of government, its true nature. Do we have his full speech? When did he say this? Okay, so let's put the phrase there, and then Barney Frank full speech. I don't understand. So this is from 2008? Okay, this is... Did he say this at the DNC? I'm confused. That's not Barney Frank. Oh, that is Barney Frank.
Strengthen your personal brand. Boost your work reputation.
Okay, let's see what he said.
Strengthen your personal
Oh, we still
brand.
have to... Here you go. Here's
Boost
an
your
ad,
work
guys.
reputation.
Boost your work
Grammarly Pro
reputation.
combines
Grammarly.
AI
This is
writing
not
assistant
sponsored
with useful
by
tools.
Grammarly. Okay.
How are you? Hi.
Hi, Barney. He's got a gavel for some reason. He doesn't know.
Oh. Nice of them to leave a gavel out for me to make me feel nostalgic. I have the problem we all have when we speak
One
here.
second here.
There are a lot of issues to talk about. So the question is, which ones do you pick? There are a number that interest me, like why it is that so many Republicans are afraid that my marriage will threaten theirs, or why Mitt Romney thinks it's a bad thing that the president ended the war in Iraq. But let's stick to the central themes of the economy. We need to do more to get the economy back. Now, we inherited from the Republicans the worst economy in 80 years, and we have been improving it over their objection and over their obstruction, but we'd like to move quicker. Well, one argument we get is that the Republican nominee, Mr. Romney, because of his private business experience, is a superior job creator, and that if we elect him president...
Okay, so this was Romney versus Obama.
He will use those great private sector skills as a chief executive to bring many more jobs. We've had an experiment in that. He was governor of the state I lived in Massachusetts. So if, in fact, Mitt Romney's private sector experience makes him the superhero of job creation, we would have seen that in Massachusetts.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of jobs. I'm just trying to see, can I get a transcript of this? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think
In fact, the record is that during his term, our job growth was only about 1.4%, which was a quarter of the national average. We were under Mitt Romney for national, international economic trends, and we wanted
just gonna fast forward through it here.
these things. Under Mitt Romney, we got no help of this wizard of private sector financial engine. It turns out our governor was Mitt Romney. What we should have had as governor was Myth Romney. Moves into the public sector can transform it. I wish Myth Romney had been governor of the state, and so we had to wait for the great Deval Patrick to get that son governor and done all the things we're told he can. That your party's advantage is more important than the economic well-being of your constituents. I would have taken that. But we didn't have Myth Romney. His term was up. He was afraid to run for re-election. He gallantly let his lieutenant governor take the. If we didn't get that job experience, if we can't look to the past to be reassured, let's look to the future. What will any Romney, and you know there were a lot of change, and now there's a Romney who believes that it's a myth himself, to repeat every failed and mistaken policy.
I'm just trying to see if this quote is even there.
For all of the talk about how Mitt Romney understands the private sector, and that clearly is a little bit iffy, who have been successful in the private sector, things that the private sector isn't meant to do.
He just keeps saying private sector.
So that's why Mitt Romney opposed the.
Look when Democrats were enthusiastic, guys.
The automobile industry going and the services they provide. When he said, "Oh, he just wants more teachers," and because hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hardworking public employees have been let go, was the failure of the Republican right wing. Unfortunately, some Democrats joined in to allow the public sector appropriately to regulate the private sector by companies that can't back up when they get in trouble, like AIG. To be advised by unscrupulous people who get them into trouble and they lose money. To the economic disaster. Mitt Romney, and for all I know, Myth Romney.
Yeah, I don't think this is. Yes, I also got. I almost forgot. I got 2 Pikajas today, guys. I don't think this is it. So I don't know. I would just like to see the full context of what, like, Barney said. You know, like sometimes we're just taking one quote, and I don't even know if this is like a super bad quote, and we're pumping it up. I just got a gift today from Donna. It is this great book, which we will also go over here. It's a copy of On Tyranny. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Yeah. So again, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is just something Barney was talking about, the expansion of government. I don't know. There's always this great debate, which I don't quite understand. No, but I'm okay right now. Did you see my new foot thing? I put it together as very nice. Guys, I have a great footstool now, so now my knees aren't going to hurt as bad. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for my footstool, guys. But what I don't understand is this constant battle, right, between the expansion of government and the limiting of government, right? Like in the beginning, we wanted this government to like give us rights, do all these things, right? And now there's this constant push and pull with how much the government gets to tell us what to do or not to do and what to accept and what not to accept. And the way I read that preamble, that if every single person here in America is guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for ourselves and our posterity, then all of these issues that we're constantly battling over should not be a battle, right? That's the most simplistic way I look at it. If we're all guaranteed that, within reason, then what does my marriage have to do with your marriage? Even if we are both straight, like, what does my marriage have to do with my neighbor down the way's marriage? It doesn't. Them having a good or bad marriage or getting divorced or whatever has nothing to do with me. That's between them, right? And similarly, who adults choose to sleep with or not or whatever is also none of my business. As long as it's consenting adults, it doesn't matter. So they have just been this, these guys, the fellowship, the society, the family, all these, mafia, Christian mafia-esque things have literally, just been pushing this narrative that they want less government, right? And they want the rights in the hands of the people, but also asterisk, we want you to have only these rights. And we're going to tell you what the rights are because we're the best people. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you get to decide what my freedoms are? This is just like literally, I don't understand it. It boggles my mind. This entire document is someone's mansplaining of what society should look like through their very myopic eyes. Right? It just is, it's very odd to me. But let's get back to this. As far as I can see, this quote is just like somebody got this quote once and they fucking ran with it for decades. Like, this is just nuts. This is how nuts it is. Like, this is a one-off quote out of context from a Democrat, and then they decide it's the entire left. No one else has ever repeated this line except for you guys. Okay. But in real life, most of the things people do together have nothing to do with government. This is very true. That's not like we the people. That's what he was saying, like that we the people choose to do together. That's government because it's for we the people. Oh my God. All right. These are the mediating institutions that serve as the building blocks of any healthy society: marriage, family, work, church, school, volunteering. Basically, that is like the pillars of the fucking Seventh-day Adventist church. Like, literally, if you check all of those boxes, those 6 boxes, you're a perfect Seventh-day Adventist. My uncle was a Seventh-day Adventist minister for many, many years. But that's like their pillars. Like, even, probably Catholicism too. That's the Judeo-Christian check mark. First of all, everybody doesn't have to get married. That's number one. Second of all, women don't have to birth babies to be complete. I have a lot of, childless friends, as they, dub themselves, and they're fucking happy as fuck, guys. Okay. Like, they're smart. They get all their free time to themselves. Every penny that comes into their household, that's for them. That money goes into their pocket. They spend it on whatever the fuck they want. They don't got to pay for soccer cleats and basketball shoes and everything that goes with softball. And then not just the equipment, guys, but then you got to pay the fees for the teams, and you got to pay for the fees for the coach and the tournament fees, and you got the fees, and then you're driving all over the universe for these fakakta games every weekend. Why did my wife and I get married? Because guess what? We wanted rights to be together through every single part of our lives, and to not be told that we couldn't be together for any moment. That's at risk right now, guys. Because two straight people who are together, who aren't married, are more likely to be, like in a hospital situation, right? If a woman walks in, we've all seen, what's the movie with, now it flew out of my head, While You Were Sleeping, with Sandra Bullock, right? Where she's obsessed with this guy she keeps seeing on the train, and then he gets hit or something and he's in a coma. And so she tells the doctors that he's her fiance, and, and she goes in every day and talks to him every day, right? And just creates this whole life with him. His parents and his sister think that they're engaged, this whole thing, right? Now, if that was two gay women or two gay men, oh, no. If you're not married, you can't be here, right? It's really, really bad. I don't want to go back to the days where gay people were cousins living together. Like, it's just, it's not cool. It's not cool. Also, again, work is not a healthy building block of society. I disagree vehemently with that. I think that work sucks. The way we have structured capitalism right now sucks, and it hurts people mentally and physically to do these things to keep society running and all this bullshit, right? Church, I don't know about that. I got burnt by church, so that's not my jam. School, I don't know about that anymore. School is kind of a joke right now, y'all. Like, kids can't even get an F. There's no failing. For those of you guys who don't have school-age kids, there is no failing in school anymore. Kids cannot fail. They are just pushed forward with ignorance, illiteracy, whatever. They don't care. As long as you clock in for your 8 hours and the school itself can collect its money and then give 2 pennies to every teacher, they don't care. Teachers are woefully underpaid, completely restricted with this abstract testing system that tells us nothing about anything. It's ridiculous. Volunteering. I agree with volunteering. Everybody should give some time to other people. I think that's like the one good building block. That's the one. But see, like, guys, that's the socialism that they sneak in there. Volunteering is a very, very socialistic, progressive idea. That doesn't give anybody any profit. I mean, I guess, if you go volunteer at certain places, they didn't have to pay you, so they get to keep the money. But you know what I mean? Like, giving back to people and helping people, that's we're talking very socialist, very communistic, very like, ooh, like all the other things that we take advantage of. Yeah. Now what? I bet you were. Honey. I did the stay at home with 4 kids under 5. Honey, that's too many kids at once. This sounds like my stepdad's first wife. She had 7 kids in 5 years with no twins. 7 kids in 5 years with no twins. And she did get institutionalized. Like, for real. And then he just thought she was a bad person because she was just lazy. Sir, that was on you, sir. You did that. I was totally nuts by the time the youngest was 3. That's when I started college. It was the beginning of my escape. Yeah. I feel you. It's terrible. Terrible. Yeah. I love my children's. But I am really like, I'm over it now. We have a sophomore, a senior, and a 7th grader. And I'm ready to clock out on the school time shit. Honestly. Like, it's just fucking bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. But, it's the system we live in. So, yeah. The name real people give to the things we do together is community, not government. Oh, they're going to be so self-righteous with that one. Community, not government. Well, yes, when you gather with other humans, that's community. But again, when we're talking about we the people as a whole, we, the royal we of America, like he's addressing Congress. So he's talking about we, the senators, the Congress people. Like, take it in the context it was delivered. You know, he didn't say Americans. He said we. He was addressing his fellow Congress people. Like, that is what they do when they get together. Our lives are full of interwoven, overlapping communities, and our individual and collective happiness depends upon them. Okay. But the most important community in each of our lives and the life of the nation is the family. Again, this is some birther fucking white power bullshit, right? Because white people are the minority in this country. And this is how scared they are, guys. They wrote 900 pages, talk about how scared they are. Okay. Yeah. It is. They're freaking out. That's why they're putting all these restrictions on women's rights, because they need white women to be forced to birth white children to bring them back to the majority. You know, that's why we have all these Mormons with 10 million kids. You know, we have shows making fun of them. Like, I love Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm fucking all about it. But like these guys, these mofos are having like a gajillion children. That's too many children's. Okay. And it is not the most important thing in each of our lives. There are very many independent single people who live full and active lives, who don't have a family, they have no progeny, and they are okay. You know, and we have to normalize that too, guys. You know, we have to normalize people not having kids if they don't want to. We've told our children very, you know, like, listen, do I want to be a grandma? Do I want my grandkids to call me Yaya, which is Greek for grandma? Fuck, 100,000,000% I do. If my children, and there are 4 of them, never have any kids, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to be resentful of them. I'm not going to be mad at them. I'm not going to be disappointed in them. Right? It's okay. I have dogs. I'm good. I have my wife. You know, like, if I never have grandkids, that's just something I don't have. It doesn't mean I'm not a full and complete person. You know, I think I'd be a fun grandma, but that's a whole other topic. It's up to my kids if they decide to do that. It's not up to me if they do that. That's the difference. Right? Today, the American family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of Black children. I don't think that's a real statistic. Let's look it up. This is where we have to fact check things, guys. What is the percentage of children born to unwed mothers? Okay. They said 40. This is from the CDC's Fast Facts Unmarried Childbearing. This is as of 2022. Okay, well, you go, ladies, not getting married. Unwed, let's see. Black mothers. 72%, it says. Again, from the CDC Vital Statistics Reports. Interesting. Okay, I wanted to fact check it. I wanted to see, and we saw. There is no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of a father. Again, straight white nonsense. If a child grows up in a home where it's just him and his mom, and that's all he knows his whole life, or she knows her whole life, that's normal for them, right? If I had just come out as gay long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away and married a woman and we had children on our own and there were no father figures in their life, that would be their norm, in the same way that two dads raising a kid would be somebody else's norm, right? What children need is love, attention, proper nutrition, good sleep, clothes, time with you that isn't, just a meal or whatever. It's not a lot of stuff, actually, but you have to put your brain and your body into it. And I would say that people who had a father and somehow lost that dad, right? Either via him skipping out, divorce, death, those things affect somebody it hugely, right? My dad died when I was 19. That fucked me. I'm still fucked up about it. It's been 29 years. I'm still fucked up about it. But I had him in my life. It's just, yeah. And men who bail on their families, rocks, like your dad, and I'm sorry that happened to you. That's awful. That's the difference. Like, you had a dad and then he just fucking took off. That's a whole other bag of chips. Fatherlessness is one of the principal sources of American poverty, crime, mental illness, teen suicide, substance abuse, rejection of the church, and high school dropouts. That's too many things. I'm just going to flat out disagree with that. I don't think lacking a father is the reason teens are committing suicide. Teens are committing suicide because of online bullying, because of social fucking media. That's why teen suicide has skyrocketed. Mental illness is rampant because we live in a cesspool that is about to set itself on fire, and we cannot get away from that, right? Like, it is not, it's not hard to figure out. And we don't have access in this country to decent mental health help, right? Like, as if putting a father in every home would somehow erase these things. Then we don't have to worry about that pesky mental health because you've got a daddy now. What the fuck is that? Okay, give me a daddy. I want a rich daddy. I want a daddy Warbucks daddy. That's what I want. Everyone needs a rich daddy. Let's all get a rich daddy. And then our problems are all solved. Yes. Send me a rich daddy and he can, I want, daddy, I want it right now. I want it right now, daddy. This is insane. Like, listen, I know I have daddy issues. I'm aware of that. But saying that America has daddy issues and that's the problem for everything, give me a break. That's just rejection of the church. If I had a dad, I would have gone to church. Like, no, that's what? So many of the problems government programs are designed to solve but can't are ultimately problems created by the crisis of marriage and the family. No, they are not. The world has never seen a thriving, healthy, free, and prosperous society where most children grow up without their married parents. If current trends continue, we are heading towards social implosion. I think that's BS. Go look at China and Japan. They have decent divorce rates. Those kids just fucking go to school, their program, bop-a-da-bop-a-da-bop-a-da-bop, and they're beating us and everything. They don't give two shits about whether or not their parents are married. And yes, also, truth seeker, this is also very true. Just because a child is born out of wedlock doesn't mean the father is absent. Correct, because a lot of people are choosing to not get married because they don't believe in it, because they think it's stupid. Holy shit. Are you kidding me, Gunna Fawcett? A teacher once put in my son's report card that he needed more positive role models. What she wanted was working full-time, not disabled or retired. I went freaking nuts. I hope you did. Sure. Just do full-time work, heal your body on your own, and also give your son full hours of attention. Like, Jesus Christ. Of course they said that to you because you're a woman. Like, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. All the men in my son's life are caring and wonderful examples that I wouldn't change. Yeah. It's just anytime somebody's failing in an institution, the answer is always we're going to finger point at the home instead of a failing, decrepit, old-fashioned institution of learning that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. Okay. The pandemic showed us, okay, for those of us who had school-age children during the pandemic showed us that what the children get out of going to school is companionship. The fucking schoolwork was exactly the same. My kids got it done in a fraction of the time. But what they lacked was their friends. Right? So basically, kids are going to school 8 hours a day so they can have friends and be socialized and also be programmed to obey timelines, bells, breaks. All that shit is to program them. And it was originally designed to program young children to be ready to go work in mass production factories. Everybody doesn't go work in a factory, right? It's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy that this is what we're thinking is like the thing, or that these people are thinking. They're trying to tell everybody this is what's what. Where are we? Okay, the world has never seen a thriving, healthy, blah, 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 blah. If current trends continue, we are headed towards social implosion. Yeah, social media has done that. We cannot trust each other. We cannot talk to each other. That has nothing to do with the fact that my parents got divorced when I was 8. Okay. That has to do with the fact that social media has destroyed our ability to look each other in the eye, tell each other important words face to face, hug your friends. Social media has fucked us big time. Furthermore, the next conservative president must understand that using government alone to respond to symptoms of the family crisis is a dead end. Federal power must instead be wielded to reverse the crises and rescue America's kids from familial breakdown. Okay, so does this mean that, let's say, are we canceling divorce in America? Is that what's happening? The conservative promise includes dozens of specific policies to accomplish this existential task. How do you rescue kids from a familial breakdown? How do you rescue kids who have been orphaned because their parents went to, got in a car wreck and they weren't in the car? How do you rescue kids whose parents, get divorced? Where are we rescuing them and where are we putting them? What does this mean? This is just crazy. Some are obvious long-standing goals, like eliminating marriage penalties in federal welfare programs and the tax code, and installing work requirements for food stamps. Okay, so again, this is all anti-poor bullshit. So I'm unaware, and I am completely, I do not know this, that if there is a marriage penalty in welfare, so if you're married, it's harder for you to get on welfare. Is that what they're saying? Right? And the tax code, so you get penalized if you're, actually, I thought you got tax benefits for being married. Right? I'm pretty sure you do. and installing work requirements for food. Well, part of the problem is that people who are working are on food stamps. Like, talk to fucking Walmart, talk to fucking McDonald's. Okay. They are not paying their workers enough. And most of the people who work in those two institutions are also on food stamps. Sam's Club. Like, they're already working. They just don't get enough money to not need fucking food stamps. But we must go further. It's time for policymakers to elevate family authority, formation, and cohesion as their top priority, and even use government power, including through the tax code, to restore the American family. It's time for policymakers to elevate family authority, formation. So again, straight white shit, straight hetero shit, the formation of a family, and cohesion. This is freaking me out. Today, the left is threatening the tax-exempt status of churches and charities that reject woke progressivism. No, they are threatening the statuses of church and charities, period. Because why do churches pay no taxes, Joel Osteen, all these other fucking guys with their colleges and the things, and the Falwells, all these fucks, right? Why do they pay no taxes while ripping off their sheeple into oblivion? The Lord Jesus has told me I need the new Gulf Stream to be able to spread the word, y'all. I need that new Gulf Stream. Please call in today. Send me the money, because Jesus our Lord has sent it down above and told me that new Gulf Stream will allow me to spread the love of Jesus. Yeah, that's totally legit. That's totally legit. No, they should pay taxes. They should pay taxes. All of them. There shouldn't just be like one church, well, we're just going to tax the Catholics because they can afford it. No, I want all the churches to pay taxes. And we'll be kind. It won't even be retroactive. Okay? But you got to start ponying up your fucking part here. Okay? And no more telling fucking Mormons they got to give 10% of their income to you, fucking Mormon church. Go fuck yourself. They should be putting that in a Roth IRA and saving for their retirement. Right? Like, just give me a break. They will soon turn Christian schools and clubs with the same totalitarian intent. Yeah. I think all of those societal things should pay taxes. Yes. Yes. The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke cultural warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights out of every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, regulation, and piece of legislation that exists. They want to delete it. There, right there, guys. Delete the terms. They do not want these words to exist. They're going to ban these words. They're going to ban sexual orientation, gender identity, diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights. First of all, reproductive health is positive, you fucks. Women people born with uteruses and, fucking ovaries and a vagina, okay, need reproductive health. They need to be educated on their body. But see, they don't want that because reproductive health, besides getting your annual exam, your mammogram, okay, and your little scrape of the cervix to make sure you don't got the cancer, okay, besides those things that make sure you're healthy, they don't want you to have the right to say, I need birth control. Most women go on birth control, y'all, not for sex purposes, but to regulate their period so that it is regular, that it comes every month, every 28 days. They can predict their life. It is not to prevent pregnancy because they're a Jezebel, right? Also, how are those terms depriving anyone of their First American Amendment rights? Let's just go. I don't know why I opened another tab. Let's just look at this here. First Amendment. Okay, we're going to look at the First Amendment. Okay. So, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So there will be no governmental, there's no American religion, okay? And you can't prohibit people from practicing their own religion or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Okay? So your religious practice, okay, that you've altered the Bible into thinking that it says you may not get an abortion, okay, your decision to practice that on yourself as your own personal religion is guaranteed to you in the United States Constitution, okay? My right to do something totally different and not be religious is also guaranteed in the same sentence. What is so hard to understand that? Okay, your religious practices and beliefs are that. They are yours. Okay, they are yours. They are not now mine because they are yours. We are both American, and I get to stand on this side of the street and say, well, that's not for me, but carry on. Okay? I don't know how anyone is reading this and trying to then say, well, of course they were talking about, starting a whole national religion and making sure everybody did the same thing. Like, that's not what they said. That's not what they said. It's not that they want to cancel the Constitution, Cajun Juju. They have people like Alito, okay, and Clarence Thomas, who consider that they are experts on what the Constitution really means. And they are not. They are interpreting it through, I don't even know what filter, but it's not what they said. The Constitution is very straightforward, and that's not something it says in there. Okay. So you have to take it out of every federal rule, agency regulation, contract grant regulation, and piece of legislation that exists. Things that are already here, that exists, not things that we're proposing newly. Please read this carefully, guys. They want them to go back and re-edit every regulation, contract, grant, regulation, federal rule, piece of legislation, and remove that verbiage from it. That's worse than editing the Constitution, guys. Pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children. I have to pause because that is one of the most ridiculous and grotesque sentences I've ever read. Pornography exists. This is a fact. Children, again, because of the internet, have access to a myriad of things that they shouldn't have access to, right? Now, I have 3 boys. I lovingly call them the Penis Patrol. And I have told all 3 of them as they have reached puberty that please don't ever look at pornography on Twitter, which you can find in abundance, Instagram, or God forbid, YouTube. Okay. Because the difference between, I said, listen, I'll go get you a magazine, whatever magazine you want. I'll get it for you. You can have it. That's it. Because a magazine has a cover, it has pages, and then it's got a back cover. It's it. That's it. It's a finite thing. It contains those things. The internet never ends. The internet never ends, and it only gets weirder and weirder and weirder and more grotesque the further and the more clicks you do. The problem isn't transgender people. Okay. There are, and I will say this, there are some, and I'm going to put them in gigantic air quotes. Okay. Trans activists who are not trans. There was even a guy, he's a conservative guy who pretended to be a trans woman for months just to prove a point that, that transgenderism is a bad thing. Right. But people believed for like the first couple months of his prank that he was, in fact, transitioning, right? There are people like that. There are other people who, in any movement, there's always imposters and con men who come along, okay? And the trans movement has become ripe for such infiltration, right? And because, again, of the internet, children have access to many people that I wouldn't invite to my home to look at their stories and comment with them and all this other stuff, right? So this is on parents. This is on how you regulate in your own home the use of the internet, and you have to have really frank, very hard conversations with kids about what they see and how they digest any information that they get on the internet. Okay. This is not, transgender people are not a new invention of this century. They have been amongst us since the olden times. Okay. Joan of Arc. There you go. Many people have lived their whole life not as their assigned at birth gender. And the world didn't break then. Okay. So this weaponization against a small minority of people who are vulnerable is really, it's dirty pool, in my opinion. For instance, it's not a political Gordian knot. I don't know what a Gordian knot is. Inextricably binding us. Oh, is that like the snake eating itself kind of thing? Inextricably binding us, binding up disparate claims about free speech, property rights, sexual liberation, and child welfare. It has no claim to First Amendment protection. No, you don't get to decide what gets protected under the First Amendment. First Amendment protects everyone. That's that's how that works. We're all protected. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. No. Again, we're going to go back in time to that old adage that gay people are PDF files, right? That is not a fact. If you are gay, you have a same-sex attraction. If you are a PDF file, then you want to have sex with children. Okay? There's no in between. They are not the same. Okay? Anyone, even if the PDF file is having forcible sex, graping, okay? Statutory graping with a minor of the same sex, that still doesn't make them gay. It makes them a PDF file. That's a very special kind of person. They're a bad, bad, bad person, but they're not gay. Their product is as addictive as any illicit drug and as psychologically destructive as any crime. Pornography should be outlawed. Wow. All pornography? You're going to get rid of Hooters. You're going to get rid of fucking Playboy magazine, Hustler. You're going to get rid of Playgirl. You're going to get rid of the Chippendales. You're going to get rid of Thunder from Down Under. Like, that's all pornographic shit. You're going to get rid of, like, Showtime After Dark. All those channels on cable. Larry Flint is rolling over in his grave, y'all. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Wow. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. So this is specifically, now they're not just talking about like, hey, I got a Playboy and I'm checking out these titties in the centerfold. They are literally talking about any transgender topic is that's what they're defining as pornography. Even the porn on Twitter, I know Twitter should be just shut down. And does that mean Elon Musk goes to jail? Is he going to run Doge from jail? Like, this is, I don't understand. And telecommunications and technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. Oh, okay. So then let's just get rid of all of television. Throw your phones away, guys. Throw them away. Whew. Throw them away. How do you? This is it. What are we talking about? We're going to go back to writing with chalk on a fucking slate? And we're just going to gather around the fire and hear Pop tell us a story about what the world is? We're all going to go back and just farm the land. And we're all, I mean, like, is this like, yeah, what's that M. Night Shyamalan movie? The Village. Is that what we're trying to do? We're trying to create the village like America-wide? Like, what is going on? In our schools, the question of parental authority over their children's education is a simple one. Schools serve parents, not the other way around. Well, yeah. That, of course, the best argument for universal school choice. Uh-oh, hot dog, here we go. Just the charter schools survive, y'all. A goal all conservatives and conservative presidents must pursue. But even before we achieve that long-term goal, parents' rights as their children's primary educators should be non-negotiable in American schools. So that means if Johnny is a good Christian and you guys are talking about evolution, then Johnny doesn't have to learn that, read that, or write a paper about it because we don't believe in evolution and Jesus rode a dinosaur. Yeah, that's what that means. Listen, I've met some very smart homeschooled people. I've also met some very sketchy homeschooled people. And that's truly up to who's doing the schooling and what they're schooling with. This is wild. This is wild. States, cities and counties, school boards, union bosses, principals, and teachers who disagree should be immediately cut off from federal funds. No soup for you. No soup for you. That is insane. The noxious tenets of critical race theory, which of course simply tells the true story of slavery and genocide that have been conducted, not just in this country, but in many countries, and also is a college level course. And gender ideology should be excised from curricula in every public school in the country. Most public schools don't talk about either of those things. Those are both college level courses. But moving on. These theories poison our children, who are being taught, on the one hand, to affirm the color of their skin fundamentally determines their identity and even their moral status, while on the other hand, they're taught to deny the very creatureliness that inheres in being human. What is creatureliness? These people are just they're just making words up now. Creatureliness? What the fuck is that? This is just the state of being a creature. Yeah. An animal, especially a non-human, any being such as a creature of the imagination, a person or a human being. Why does this word have so many different meanings that are conflicting? A person under the control or influence of another person or thing, such as a creature of habit. The word creatureliness comes from the adjective creaturely and the suffix ness. The earliest known use of this word was 1650. Of course, that's where they got it from. The meat tasted of fire and suggested sacrifice. It carried a creaturely flavor. When there are stunts and chases and close calls, you can bet they were shot practically or indulged in some kind of movie magic that feels, to some part of our creaturely brains, more real, more exciting. He was often throwing off his ego and trying to get in touch with his creaturely self. Y'all, no one has used this word since 1650. And what's this other trash word they're using in here? Inheres in being human. Inheres? What is this word? They opened up an old ass dictionary and were like, we're going back to the oldie times. Like, y'all, exist essentially or permanently in. Or in law, be vested in a person or group or attached to the ownership of a property. The rights inhering in the property they owned. The potential for change that inheres within the adult education world. It's uptrending. I don't believe that. What's the other part of the scale here? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give me a break. When do people use this outside of a law book? Okay, so your human nature and being human and consists in accepting the givenness of our nature as men or women. Oh, here we go. Here we go to degrade women and make sure we're in our place. Allowing parents or physicians to reassign the sex of a minor child is child abuse. What about intersex people? That's a real thing. A large percentage of people are born intersex. They have both bits and bobbles in some form or another, and they're not, neither set is fully developed. And when parents have a baby that's born that way, the doctor looks at them and says, basically, would you like a boy or a girl? And then the parents decide the sex of that baby. Or they force this kid to take, certain hormones so that they develop into the sex that they assigned them at birth. And they're forced to get surgeries to remove, extra appendages, etc. Where do those people fit in? Are we going back to the 50s where we knock the mom out when she's given birth, and then if the baby was born with some kind of birth defect, right, like that, like an intersex baby, or maybe they had Down syndrome or something else, and then the doctors just murdered the baby, and they're like, oh, we're so sorry, ma'am, you were asleep, but the baby was born dead, and we regret to inform you have no baby. Like, that's what they did. That's why they were knocking the women the fuck out. So they could control the population and make sure no disabled people were born. And if they were, that was quickly fixed. Is that what we're going back to? That's ridiculous. What is going on? For public institutions to use taxpayer dollars to declare the superiority or inferiority of certain races, sexes, and religions, no one has done that. No public institution has used taxpayer dollars to declare any of that. Is a violation of the Constitution and civil rights law. I love how they're going to quote civil rights law right now when they're trying to take away all of them, and cannot be tolerated by any government anywhere in the country. But the pro-family promises expressed in this book, okay, they're going to be upfront with it, and central to the next conservative president's agenda must go much further than the traditional narrow definition of family issues. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. This resolve should color each of our policies. Consider our approach to big tech. The worst of these companies prey on children like drug dealers to get them addicted to their mobile apps. Yeah, they pay psychiatrists and psychologists on their staff to make all that shit addictive. Why do you guys think Amazon's so addictive? Because they designed it that way. You guys probably haven't thought about Amazon all day. And now I said Amazon, and you're restraining yourself from going to the app just to see what's there. Maybe something, oh, I got to get a Christmas present for somebody. I'm so glad Nora brought that up because it's programmed in our brains. Yes, our mobile apps fucking highly addictive, and I deal with those issues every day with my kids. Yes. But that's not. Are we just outlawing technology now? We're just outlawing technology? Oh, God. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. This resolve should color each of our policies. Consider our approach to big tech. The worst of these companies prey on children, like drug dealers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, many Silicon Valley executives famously don't let their own kids have smartphones. This is a fact. That a few of the thousands of Silicon Valley tech people who are executives don't allow their children the technology that they are producing when they are very young. Not ever, just when they are very young. They nevertheless make billions of dollars addicting other people's children to theirs. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms are specifically designed to create the digital dependencies that fuel mental illness and anxiety. No! People being emboldened to say horrifically disgusting things while claiming it's their First Amendment right on the internet to strangers, including children, being attacked by grown-ass adults on a daily basis about their looks, about how they talk. That's the problem. The app itself, yes, is designed to fucking make you want more. All of these devices are designed to light up very specific parts of our brains and make that brain get hungry for that hit of dopamine again. It's science. They figured out the science of the brain and they're fucking with it. To fray children's bonds with their parents and siblings. Federal policy cannot allow this industrial scale child abuse to continue. Where were you guys? Where were the conservatives when they were taking over Facebook? And everybody, my fucking aunt sending me Jesus shit all the time. Is that okay? I don't want that. Where were you guys then? I mean, Facebook is a fucking cesspool, man. I don't even go on there. I apologize to everybody who follows me on Facebook. I really don't go on there. Finally, conservatives should gratefully celebrate the greatest pro-family win in a generation, overturning Roe v. Wade. Finally, conservatives should gratefully celebrate the greatest pro-family win in a generation, overturning Roe v. Wade, a decision that for 5 decades made a mockery of our Constitution and facilitated the deaths of tens of millions of unborn children. Yes, and where would those tens of millions of unborn children be now? Will we have tens of millions of children in our foster care system that can barely support 1 million children? Are we going to fix the foster care system? Are we going to fix, health care for children when they are born? Like, what the fuck? The overturning of Roe v. Wade was the singularly largest step backwards our country has ever taken in my lifetime. But the Dobbs decision is just the beginning. Conservatives in the states and in Washington, including in the next conservative administration, should push as hard as possible to protect the unborn in every jurisdiction in America. In particular, the next conservative president should work with Congress to enact the most robust protections for the unborn that Congress will support while deploying existing federal powers, aka the military, aka the National Guard, to protect innocent life and vigorously complying with statutory bans on the federal funding of abortion. Conservatives should ardently pursue these pro-life and pro-family policies while recognizing the many women who find themselves in immensely difficult and often tragic situations and the heroism of every choice to become a mother. Are we going to start giving moms capes now? Are we heroes? Am I a hero because I endured 9 months of pregnancy and almost died giving birth to my eldest son? Am I a hero because I forgot about all that pain and nonsense and I decided to do it again and birthed a second child? Yes, Gunna Fawcett, I agree. If they did care, pregnant women would get free health care, and so would all children. Boom. Where is that? Where's the priority parking for pregnant women everywhere? How come pregnant women can't drive in the carpool lane then? I want pregnant women to get a tax break on their unborn child, even if they got pregnant in October and they're not giving birth. They get tax credits from the second they're pregnant. Okay? If this person is already a person before they've even been born, before they've even grown into an actual human being, I want money back from the government for my fucking pregnancy. I think then that pregnant women should get $1 million cash money, tax-free, when their child is born. Every mom. Because that's what giving birth is worth. That's worth at least $1 million. You give that to me. Then kids could be cared for. I got $1 million in my bank. I'm going to fucking get the good diapers. I'm going to have multiple bottles, not just the one that I get 87 nipples for because I can't afford more than one bottle. Yes. Also that. Oh, now what? Child support should start at the moment of conception. Yeah. Fuck it. If women are going to be forced to carry these babies, the men are going to fork over a shit ton of money for those 9 months. As soon as that pregnancy test got that 2 lines on there, you owe me money. You pay me now. Yeah. Alternative options to abortion, especially adoption, should receive federal and state support. Have you guys ever seen, it's not The Daily Show. It's on YouTube. Let me open up my other YouTube tab here. 1 second. There's an interview that a gentleman does on YouTube. Let me just pull this up over here. Yes, let's go to YouTube. What did you... There we go. I don't know what happened. Okay. Protester interviewing and see if I can find it. There's a guy and he was like, you know, oh, I got to put anti-abortion. See, this is the stuff that they are putting out, guys. It's crazy. My feed is going to get so whacked out. Where is my guy here? This guy. Okay.
There was a March for Life rally just last week, and the fiercest supporters against choice for women if they should become pregnant.
Life continues. I'm not okay with abortion whatsoever. What should happen to these children that are born?
It's adoption.
Choose adoption.
Right.
They always say that. Choose adoption.
Choice instead of abortion.
So how many children have you adopted? I don't have any children that I've adopted.
Oh, I have
Yeah. How many children have you adopted? I don't have any children I've adopted.
6 children.
How many of those children are adopted?
None.
Yeah. None of their children. All these people that are like, choose adoption, haven't adopted one single child. Not one single child. Choose adoption. Why didn't you choose adoption? How come you didn't adopt any kids? Right? They never do as they say, not as they do. In summary, the next president has a moral responsibility to lead the nation in restoring a culture of life in America again. Okay, guys, I'm going to get to your comments and questions here. We'll get to promise number 2 next time. I'm going to have to, I just had too many reactions. I apologize, guys. It's a lot. It's a lot to break down. But we can see from this promise number 1 about family, they want everyone to be married in a straight hetero way. They want women to be birthing babies. No more abortions. No more morning after pill. No more choice. No more prophylactics. Okay. And then on top of that, they want to take out they want to erase any progress forward that we've made in the last 50 years out of every reform, law, etc. Anything having to do with reproductive rights, gender rights, equality, equity, inclusion. They want all of that taken out. Okay. That's a lot. Does this mean that women will be forced to be married? Now we're not having forced abortions. We're having forced marriages. Are we just going to go to like the Southeast Indian tradition of like, just arranging marriages for our progeny? And like they're just getting married. That's just what they're doing. They put the veil on. You don't know what she looks like. She's just yours now. Married at first sight for everybody. Is that what we're doing? This is beyond nuts, guys. This is beyond nuts. Let's check out your comments here. Anyone that I didn't get to. Hi, Selma. Each nominated person will be pardoned on the first day. Yeah, probably. Off topic, but organic castor oil rubbed into the skin on the knees or wherever you have pain really helps. They make wraps that you put the oil on. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. This whole castor oil phenomena keeps popping up everywhere in my feed. Like, oh, castor oil for this, and I put the castor oil here. And the only thing that I think of when I think of castor oil is the scene from Stand By Me, where that guy drinks an entire bottle of castor oil and eats all these raw eggs before the pie eating contest so that he can Exorcist style vomit the blueberry pie all over everyone. For my whole life, I've never taken castor oil because of that. I feel like I don't ever want that to happen to me. Capricious Caroline, some old fat white guy telling me how to live. I think not. Yes, I got that. You've been happily married for 20 years? Fantastic, Truth Seeker. But 20 years later, the certificate means less to me now than when we got married. Yeah, I mean, that's not what you're thinking about. Nothing about that piece of paper, right? What annoys me about tax exemption is the ability to amass huge amounts of money on the backs of followers. Yeah, I'm not for churches, any church, being tax exempt at this point. That's the one thing, I think that, honestly, fucking start contributing. I'm over it. Okay, let's get to your questions here, y'all. What's a single old cis dog owning lady supposed to do? Honey, just hunker down. You gotta, if you're old, they're not gonna expect you to pop out no baby. You just tell them that factory's closed. Did you get part 2 and 3 I sent? I haven't checked my, I was looking at my email earlier, but I didn't finish. Oh, part 2 and 3 of the Truth Reddit? No, I didn't see that yet. I'm gonna look, but thank you for sending that to me. I appreciate you. Will my 87-year-old parents force me into an arranged marriage at 56? I hope not, but I don't think that's out of the question under this administration. I don't know what's going to happen to single women or women, period. Are we going to not be allowed to, use our bank accounts? I only watched a little bit of the first episode of The Handmaid's Tale because, for religious reasons, I can't watch Elizabeth Moss. I should watch it. I know it's a good show and she's a fantastic actress. It's just, I didn't really want to support her during those early seasons, but it's all on Hulu. I'll watch it. All I remember is that first scene where she's jogging, she's living her best life in her Lululemon, boop, and she goes into Starbucks and tries to buy a drink, and then her card keeps getting declined, and then she goes home and her husband's like, yeah, I turned off that card, and this whole thing, and that's when she found out that she doesn't have, oh, I made your comment very small. Come back. Oh, now it's the whole page. Good grief. There we go. Then she finds out that, it starts being announced on the news, Yeah. This, I haven't read Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. I think we should all probably read it and see how much of that they wove into Project 2025. Because this isn't just a racist manifesto, a white nationalist manifesto. It is also turning back the clock, and everything for women, any color, all colors. Okay. Hi, Stacy. I'm wrapping up right now, honey, but thank you for popping in. I know you're all busy. My mods are the best, guys. I love them so much. Thank you for being kind to them today. Be kind to yourself, y'all. Okay. We're going to keep going into this tomorrow. We're going to do it again. I promise. I'm going to try and do it much earlier in the day tomorrow. I just had a lot of stuff I was doing, but thank you so much for tuning in. All right. And I will see you guys next time.
There's an elephant and donkey both on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From the healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. Educating the masses with a smirk on our face, bringing clarity to the headlines in this crazy race. From the White House to your house, we cover it all, putting humor in the facts, we're having a ball. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind, only on Oh No America you'll find.